That boy J Dub
Are
just
you
caught a 7
freaking
yonder
joking me at this place now?
in the tournament.
Y'all gotta be. Oh my gosh. There ain't no freaking way.
In the tournament. Somebody else caught a 10-pounder earlier though. Well done hooked up again.
Easy life. Just come here. It's okay. I got you right here. Don't do that. Don't do that. There we go.
£3.
You got it.
Ounces.
350.
How much 4-pounder?
Gonna give him a 5.
He was fifth. Man, he was sixth like an hour ago. Now he's first.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all gotta be kidding me.
What's good, people? It's your boy Bone back again with another episode of Top 5 or my favorite Top 5 confidence baits. So we've already been over buzz baits and spinner baits. So today we're going to talk about Texas rig. So what is a Texas rig? So basically you got a bobber stop, a weight, and a hook. So those are the main three components to a Texas rig. The bobber stop basically keeps the weight from sliding all the way up the line. You don't have to have the bobber stop. Typical Texas rig is without the bobber stop, but I like the bobber stop on there. I'll tell you about that in a second. So typically you're gonna rig on there either some type of soft plastic worm. My favorite one is the Googan Slim Shake. It's just, I get big bites on it and numbers too. And the other one is a Strike King KVD Perfect Plastic Fat Baby Finesse Worm. I like this one in some type of natural color, more like a shad color actually. So I'm trying to mimic like a dying shad on the bottom. If I throw this when they eating bait, it's a pretty good chance it's gonna get bit. So I like this one for that. So that is the Fat Baby Finesse. So the other one is a Strike King Raised Crawl. Specifically in this June bug color this time of year. It's like February right now, but in general, either green pumpkin or black and blue or June bug is what you want to go with for these. And then one of my favorite joints, the Bandito, the Googan Bandito bug. This one usually is black and blue, green pumpkin, red flake, California crawl, which is kind of the same thing, or the green pumpkin purple. That green pumpkin purple, I call it the cheese special because my boy Chaz, he catches them on that joint. So he made me start fishing with it. So they do work. So green pumpkin purple is a good one to pick up in the store. They work year round no matter what the watercolor is actually. So pick one of them up. That's it as far as what is a Texas rig. I'm gonna rig one up so y'all can actually see what it is. So I was trying to decide if I was gonna rig it up or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and rig one. Meanwhile, Jacob Willow is catching them today. So, the rod and the reel that you want to use with this is, I use a 7.3 heavy, or mag heavy technically is what this is. I would suggest a mag heavy. I would suggest a heavy or a stiffer medium heavy. You can go medium heavy, but you want to make sure it's one that's like, not all medium heavies are created equal. So you want to get a medium heavy that's like solid. You don't want to get one that you would fish a chatterbait with. You want to get one that you would fish a jig with. You see what I'm saying? So that type medium heavy or a heavy. This is a mag heavy, which I think I like the mag heavies. I got it by accident, but I think the difference is that heavy is more stiff all the way through the rod. Like it don't have as much tip or give at the end. The mag heavy is just as much backbone, but it got some give in the tip a little bit. So It's more parabolic. So it's kind of helps the fish not throw the bait as much as with a heavy. So I don't technically know exactly, but just by my experimentation with the heavy and the mag heavy, when I go to the store, that's the difference. So it just depends on your preference. I like a little more give at the tip no matter what I'm doing. The backbone is most important to me when it comes to flipping Texas rig or jig. This is what it looks like all together. You got the weight, you got the bobber stop, the weight, and then the hook. Let me take this worm off. Buckets. So here we go right here. That's what it look like without no bait on it. So what I'm about to do, I'm gonna go ahead and rig one up right quick. My skizzers at. Anytime you changing it out, you wanna cut a little up the line just in case you don't wanna cut right. You don't wanna cut the line off right where you had the knot at, because that could go bad sometimes. I'm not gonna take, this is how you say bobber stops too. I got a Texas rig rod, so pretty much I use this rod just for Texas rigs. So to save some bread and time, even though these ain't expensive, they're like $2. I keep my bobber stop on there and I just slide it up. It ain't hurting nothing to keep it on there. I just slide it up out the way. Make sure I ain't got no kinks in the line, which we're good. Start right here. Bon, now we ready to start over. So for the sake of the video, I just thought about it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off so I can show you how to put one on. So this is what you do. The bobber stop gonna come in some joint on a joint like this right here. So what you do is you isolate one of them. Figure out which one you're gonna use, isolate it. What you wanna do is you wanna stick this through the eye. Did I make it? I did make it. Make sure it's actually through the eye. So it's gonna come out like this, right? So what you wanna do, push it up to it. You only gotta do this much for real. Push it up to it and then just pull it. You'll see it start to go like that. Keep pulling it. Boom. Now it went from this to this. That's all you gotta do. Definitely wanna cut this because now you done put a crimp in the line. Slide this girl all the way up out the way up here somewhere. Now it's time for adding the weights. It's wintertime, so I'm usually going a 1/4 ounce, a 3/8, or a 5/16, 3/16. 1/4 ounce, let's just say 1/4 ounce, or I can't think of the one that's right below the 1/4 ounce, but that one. If I don't want a lot of weight on it, if I want to fall real slow. So, but typically the 1/4 ounce or 3/8 ounce if I'm fishing shallow. If I'm on a boat and I'm trying to hit like 10 feet or more, I might put a 1/2 ounce on there, maybe. But typically 3/8 is the heaviest I'm gonna go on any given day. 3/8 tungsten. You can go regular lead weight, or you can go tungsten. Tungsten gives you two advantages. It's smaller per weight. So a 1 ounce tungsten will look more like a 3/8 ounce lead weight. You see what I'm saying? So I like that. It shrinks the profile of the weight so it ain't as obvious, and you get more sensitivity to it. So because those are the two advantages, of course, it costs a little more, but it's worth it. Just get tungsten. So what you do is take your little tungsten weight. So I'm slide the weight on there head first. So you want to put the small part of the bullet weight through that first. On that first, slide that out the way. Boom. So then you take your hook, 3/0, 4/0. 3/0 if you got a small bait, maybe 2, but I would try to do a 3/0 or a 4/0 hook. 5/0 is like if you got a big, like an 8+ inch worm, okay, but you still really probably only need like a 3 or 4. The gap on the 5/0 is huge. So it's a lot of wiggle room for the fish to throw the hook out. The 3 and the 4 is the perfect size. 3 is my perfect size for everything I throw. Whether it's this big, is this an 8-inch worm or 7? 6.5. So this basically, this is a 6.5-inch worm. 3/0 hook. Works perfectly every time. When I caught my 10-pounder, it was on 3/0 hook, a 9-pounder. So you take this, I make sure my hook is pointing towards the rest of the stuff. So you got the weight down here, you got the bobber stop down there, you got the rod this way. I want my hook to be facing towards that. So, boom, put it through. Let's tie a Palomar knot. Pull it through. Push it back through. So something like that. Loop that guy around. Come through. And here. I'm gonna make a Palomar knot video so you can see more like it. But I like Palomar knot. Some people like a snail knot. Palomar knot ain't really failed me but a couple times, but that's because I should have retied. So that wasn't really the knot fault, it was my fault. A freshly tied Palomar knot, I have supreme confidence in hooking the fish and keeping the fish hooked with that. So, bam. Texas rig is ready to put a bait on it. So, what I want to put on here, what's the easiest to show y'all how to rig? I'm gonna do the worm just because we're talking about confidence baits, and worm is what made me do this video for real. So, take the worm out. This is called Green Pumpkin Pearl. One of my favorite colors. Green Pumpkin Pearl. Green pumpkin on one side, pearl on the other. So what you do is take this here, take your worm, stick it through about all the way up to the bend of the hook. Make sure it's on there straight. So go till it till the hook start to bend back. Stop there and poke it through the middle. I'm gonna poke it back through here like that. Hopefully y'all can see that. Slide it up. When you get up here, you wanna turn it. And slide it up the rest of the way like that. So now you got the worm hanging off like that. Boom. So what you do, you wanna line it up so it's straight. Put your finger where the hook would come out at if it was just sitting on there like that. See what I'm saying? You can take the hook point, find the middle, then you poke it through. That's it. If you're fishing around heavy wood, like heavy cover, a lot of wood, a lot of laydowns, a lot of heavy grass, or anything you don't want to get hung up in, you can skin hook this hook so it's not exposed. So what you do is you take it and then you kind of pull that over the top of the hook, right? So now I can run my finger across there and it's not gonna hook me. That's the little trick for that. But for the most part, I do skin hook mine. It don't affect the hookup ratio. I was afraid of that, but it don't affect the hookup ratio at all if you skin hook it or if you leave it exposed. Of course, the hookup ratio would probably be a little better if you leave it exposed, but you're not gonna lose fish because the hook wasn't exposed. Put it that way. So here's what I do with the bobber stop for the most part. Slide it all the way back down. Slide it all the way back down till it's right up on the weight, right there. Sometimes I'll slide it up about 6 inches. So when it hits the bottom of the lake, see how the weight slide? The weight will slide to the bottom, but then the bait will kind of fall behind it like that. So it'll kind of flutter down a little slower. Just a slightly different look than a regular Texas rig. And it may help them get the bait better too, because the weight won't be in the way. So that's something I do sometimes if I know I'm not around a whole lot of cover. I do that, and it does help. But yeah, so that's basically what a Texas rig is and how to rig. I know that was quick, but like I said, I'll do a different actual knot time video, and I'll go over this again so it'll make more sense. I said 3/0 offset EWG. EWG, offset EWG. I would say it don't matter the brand, but some hooks are better than others. I tried using Trokar. I lost every fish that I swung on the Trokar. Switched to Gamakatsu. Maybe only swung and missed on 2 fish since I started using them that day. And that's been a long time now. So yeah, just put it like that. These are Gamakatsu 3/0 and 4/0 hooks, EWG. Remember that. All right, so retrieve. What you do is you cast it out there, or flip it out there, wait till it hit the bottom. When it hit the bottom, you lift up, maybe jig it a couple times, hop it up and down. And as you're dropping your rod tip back down, you're reeling up the slack. So boom. I casted it out, it just hit the bottom. So I'm lifting my rod tip up, lift my rod tip up, lift my rod tip up. Ignore that part. I just cast it out there, hit the bottom, lift my rod tip up, jigging it a little bit. Once my rod tip gets probably like 10 o'clock, you don't want to get all the way to 12 if you can help it, but like 10 o'clock, reel down your slack, do it again. Make sure it's still hitting the bottom the whole time or hopping it off the bottom. Once it gets almost to 10 o'clock again, or at 10 o'clock, reel down again, hop it back up, let it fall back down to the bottom, and then do it again. Do that till it get back to you. Maybe if you feel it come over a limb or a rock, you can let it sit there and just hop it on the rock. Or hop it, if you come over a limb, once it comes over a limb, kill it, and just kind of shake it. Let it sit there for a couple seconds. If you don't get no hit, then keep continuing on with your retrieve. So basically you like feeling what's on the bottom with your bait. That's why it's important to have this tungsten instead of this lead, because it'll help you figure out what's down there easier. Like, I know what a rock feel like, I know what a stump feel like, and I know what grass feel like at this point. And they all can fool you to make you think it's a fish, but it ain't. You're gonna get hung sometimes, because while you figuring out what bites feel like, swing anyway. You get hung, that's why you got a whole pack of baits and a whole pack of hooks. Cut that girl off, keep it moving. So trailers, I already told you about the worm. So most of the Texas rig catches I done had then came on a worm. This is a fresh pike too. But like I said earlier, I use a bandito bug, this rage crawl, and the other Strike King worm as well. So the rage crawl actually tends to get more bites than the bandito bug at certain times of the year. Like if the water's warmer and the fish are more active and it's dirty water, it's kind of hard to beat the rage crawl because of the action on the tails. But when it's calmer or more clear or more stable condition, that's when I like the bandito bug. This is the mini, I think, actually. But they similar, but their tails are different. Yeah, this the mini one. They got the junior, which is this one, then they got the regular side, which is more like in line with this one. So as far as size goes, but the tail action isn't as aggressive as the rage crawl. So It just depends on what conditions is going on for which one you're gonna throw. But if it's muddier water, probably won't throw the raised craw just because it has more of a presence in the water and it probably attract the fish a little better. So, and that's it. Worm and creature bait. That's all you really need as far as confidence goes is a worm and a creature bait. That's it. Because one of them gonna get bit, typically speaking. If you're around fish and they're in any type of feeding mood, they'll hit a worm or they'll hit a craw. It just is what it is. It's been proven at this point. All right, so when to fish a Texas rig, you don't want to fish it as a search bait per se. This is more like a cleanup bait. So let's say you fishing a chatterbait or a spinnerbait or a swim jig, some sort of moving bait, and you get bit, then that's your sign to slow down and throw a Texas rig around the area, see if you can pick up more fish. They may not be as aggressive, but they're there and they're willing to feed. So it can be a search bait, depending on how the conditions go and how you're fishing, but it's probably not your most effective search bait. It's more like a cleanup bait. Or if you came to an area the day before and you know it's fish there, so you don't got to try to find them and you know where the fish are at, then that's the time you can pick up a Texas rig and just start whaling on them. If you know they're sitting on something underwater, like a dock post, a lay down, rocks, be careful with the rocks. You don't want to, because you don't want them to fall. You don't want to get hung down in the rock. So you want to kind of float it above it or move it a little faster over the rock so it don't get to sink down up in it. But or figure out where the rock line is at and then drag it down the line of the rock. So if the rock ends here and it's flat here, drag it right down the middle right here. Or this way, kind of towards it. So those are the different times and areas. It don't really matter the conditions, to be honest. If it's very windy, you probably don't want to do a Texas rig because it'll be hard to keep in contact with your bait. You can go up in weight and put braid on to increase your sensitivity, but it's still trash. So, but if it's nothing going on, like it's bright bluebird skies, the wind not blowing hard, the water is very still, it's not no ripple on the water, throw a Texas rig because you can pick them up. You drag that thing around and eventually you're going to come across a fish face. And depending on how far it is from the fish, you're probably going to hit it. If you come across his nose, he's going to hit it. If you come across his face between me and the camera, he's probably going to hit it. So just cover an area, fan cast around until you get bit, especially if you know it's fish there. So yeah. So these joints cost gonna run you probably about $8. I feel like it's not $8. I'm gonna say $7 after tax for a pack of these. Pretty much for all of these more like $5, $6. The Rage Cross, Banditos, probably more like $6, $7, and Fat Baby Finesse probably more like $4. So, not that bad, but once you put the hooks in there, you gotta buy hooks. These is $2 for the bobber stops. And, line, fluorocarbon, 15. I wouldn't even do 15 to be real with you. I would go 17 to 20 pound line, fluorocarbon. Don't do mono, you'd be mad. You can go straight braid, but you don't really need to go straight braid. You can go straight braid, but just be careful on how you set the hook because you don't want to pull a big hole in the fish mouth. And you don't want to get too trigger happy when it comes to setting the hook. You want to let them eat it. So you don't really want it to be too sensitive because if you do, you're going to feel everything and you're going to pull the hook away from the fish. Fluorocarbon is perfect. You can feel them hit it, but it'll make you think like, is that a fish? Instead of feeling the hit and then be like, that's a fish and setting the hook. So that extra, once you do feel the bite, it'll be more like, it'll be a big thump or it'll be like a tick tick. When you feel that, you can either wait and see if you see your line moving, then set the hook, or you can set the hook immediately. Either one will probably work. If you know it's a bite, go ahead and set the hook. I personally like to wait a half a second, long enough for me to feel the bite, see my line moving, and set the hook. Because typically they're not going to spit it out that fast. You don't want to watch them do it for 2 seconds. Like, feel the bite, look at the line, see it moving, set the hook. You don't want to feel the bite, say, ooh, there's one, and then watch them swim with it for 3 seconds before you set the hook. As soon as you know it's a fish, make sure you see your line moving a little bit, set the hook. Or maybe you don't see your line moving and you feel the bite and then you check it. You check it by lifting up a little bit, see if you feel tension. If you think you feel tension, check it again. Don't check it 3 times. Your third need to be a hook set, okay? Hook sets are free. So check it, think that's tension. Check it again, that's tension. Set the hook. You don't want to check it, I think that's tension. Check it, I think that's tension. Check it, is that tension? The fish gonna spit it out by then. You never want to check 3 times. Twice is almost too many. Remember that. But the number one rule for me, at least when you're fishing with Gamakatsu hooks, when you feel the bite, do not reel down. Don't do it. You're going to want to. You're going to want to reel down, then set the hook. What you don't want to do is reel down and set the hook, because when you reel down, you're pulling the weight to the front of the fish mouth. So when you set the hook, you just blowing the fish mouth open and everything is going with it. Because there's no line left to lag behind to get a hook in the fish mouth. When you reel it down, you just everything. What you want to do, when you feel it, you may give it a little half reel down, depending on where your rod tip is at. If you're all the way up here, you might want to reel down to about 10 at least and then set the hook. But you don't want to reel from a 10 or a 12 all the way down to a 6. I mean, all the way down to like a what's that? 9, 10, 11, 12. You don't want to go all the way down to 9 and then set the hook. You don't want to come all the way down straight and then set the hook. You're going to pull the bait right out the fish mouth. Trust me, I've tried this. What you want to do is you feel the bite, check. You see it, see the line moving, just set the hook. Don't reel down no more. You don't got to. The weight, the fish already got all the tension that's needed on the bait. Set the hook. Get the hook in them. Get the fish up there. So remember, don't reel down. Just set the hook. Cool. So I feel like I've been talking a lot in this one. So long story short, Texas rig is a good bait for you to cast around because fish bite it. It's a good bait to build confidence with. And yeah, it's pretty fun once you learn how to do it. It's boring at first because you got to do it slow. But once you get the hang of it and you start doing it, it's like, okay, this is fishing. I like this. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video at the end or right now, or whenever you're feeling frisky, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let somebody else know about the channel. Share it out for your boy. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into it. Yay! That's a bass. No. Get out the rocks. Fuck it.
Ain't bad.
Boy, I turned my camera on just in time too. Oh yeah.
That's first cast, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right, first fish of the day. It only took us 85 hours and 22 seconds to do it. Guess I know what they eating today. He hit as soon as he hit the water too, cause I was like, was that a bite?
What color is that?
California crawl. This ain't the ones that we want, but we'll take it. like that. Don't like that though. Hands. Caught him. Wow, lost my rod. Cool. Flip fish. Got him. Right on top of the mouth. Here we go. This is a nice solid little fish too. This a 1-3 at least. Feel like the same size as the one I caught earlier. Good. I think that was more like a catfish. Well, that's the second. Big one. Okay. If I could grab the tag on. Whew. I like that. I like that. Let's go. I'm gonna say this fish is 2-3. Okay. We'll call it 2 pounds. Come here. Yes, sir. Well, it's alright. It's probably like 1.5. Peace out. Yep. Oh yeah. Got one. Good one too. He's running at me. Yes, sir. Come here, buddy. Yes, sir. That was a horrible flip, but oh, yes. Yes, sir. I just caught it last cast. Okay, that's not smart. Get a hook in your hand like that, son. There you go. Hey, yes, sir, bruh. Gotta weigh him. Gotta weigh him. Come on, quick, dump. You can't go nowhere yet. I was just giving you some breath. Okay. .98 kilograms. Go ahead. There you go. There you go. Yes, sir. Bigger. Stop. Please stop. Please stop. Because you're a biggin. You are a biggin, yes you are. Stop. I just don't want to get a hook in my hand. That's all, big dog. Well, Gamakatsu hook it is. Man, I love worm fishing. It'll drive you crazy, but I love it. I think this is 2-1. 2-1. That's what I'm gonna go with for this dude. 1-9. I was close. Okay, well, I'm about to take you off. Coming to take you off. Say goodbye, Mr. Fish. Go ahead, you good. And he's out. Got him. Got him that time. That's how you set the hook with a Texas rig. 1, 2, basically. He counts. Morning. Be back in there, buddy. Go. Come back. That made it a little bit better today. Take that. That's a good fish right here. I'm gonna say this is a 2-1. Maybe 112. $110. Okay. He's gonna be good immediately. Yep, he's gone. Yike, a 2-pounder on a worm. I like it. Why they coming back around? Now I gotta wait another 30 minutes so I could fish that area because they about to jump right back in the water. Maybe if I get over there first, they won't do it. Oh, hit. Another one. Thank you. Got him hooked in the eyeball though. I don't like that. We rolling now. That's a pound and I don't know. We're gonna say a pound 2. He's out. Dump that girl. Yeah. Please dump that girl. I'll take it, boy. Yes, sir. It's like a good 1.5 pounds. I'll take it. There you go, bro. Oh, he's 110. Yep. Biggin. Biggin. Gee. Oh my God. Gee. Yo. And I hooked it perfectly. Yeah. Come out of there, Hook. Okay, don't hook me though. Bruh, let's get him up here so I don't lose him. Yo, let's go. Yeah. Am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Yo. Oh, son.
Goodness gracious, bro.
Let me get a sideways.
Yeah.
Bruh. Son, where my scale at? Scale. Get the scale. Yes, thank you. Good Lord. Good Lord. Oh, what you got on this, Chief? What you got to weight on this one, Ben?
Bro, that might be 15. That's a big fish, bro.
It's an 8.7.
That's an 8.7?
Son. This is an 8.7. Son. Yes, sir. Hey, evening fishing, get you a 9-pounder, bro. Let's get it. I'm gonna weigh it one more time, just to make sure that the weight is right. Bruh, I'm shaking, Chi. Chaz, I'm shaking.
Boom. You done it again.
We just gonna go with this a 9-pounder. Call another 9, baby. Let's get it. Yeah, okay. I could go home now. Bruh.
Good gracious.